Hello and welcome to Dotto Tech. We've got a great show lined up today, and we're going to start it with a look at this, a tablet PC. Tablet PCs are the convertibles of the computer world. By day, unassuming notebooks, but by night, they convert into tablet PCs, letting their hair down and ready to set the town afire and to set your imagination free. Now, I've been living on a tablet PC for over a year and just upgraded to a new one. So I want to spend some time today looking at my new tablet and talk a little bit about the difference that Windows Vista is making for me. But first, let's talk about the computer itself. As I mentioned before, I had an earlier version of the tablet PC, the Lenovo X41. I used it for about a year and have retired it recently in favor of this, the X61 tablet. Not only is the X61 newer, faster, and full of new features, but it's also the first tablet PC I've used that runs the Microsoft Vista operating system. I was using Windows XP on the old X41 tablet, and I need to tell you, in this case, Vista is a breath of fresh air, but more on that later. Let's start with a look at the computer itself. It weighs in at under 4 pounds. It's actually only 3.8 pounds, but it's really well built. It actually has an entire frame built out of titanium that they call the roll cage that protects all of the key components. For example, the hard drive is shock mounted, so it'll take little bumps and bruises without damage. It also has an accelerometer built into it that notices acceleration in any one direction. That's important if you ever happen to drop the computer. It'll park the hard drive, so hopefully the hard drive will survive any more serious bangs. Now, this titanium cage also just makes it so rigid that if you feel the computer itself, there's no flex at all in the keyboard, and even more importantly, there's no flex in the screen. If you try and flex most notebook computer screens, you'll get a certain waving that happens through the LCD display as you do that. But this one here, you can actually torque on it, and I'm torquing fairly hard with absolutely no distortion on the screen at all. And that's testament to how solidly built the notebook is. It's designed to work as you work, to travel around with you and survive the little bumps and bruises as you go about your day-to-day work. Now, a little bit more about the screen itself. I have a version with a standard 1024 by 768 screen. Now, the screen on the tablet PC is way more critical than screens on normal computers because besides being the display for the computer, it's also part of the input for the computer. This is a tablet PC. It's got a Wacom digitizing tablet built in, so it has a screen overlay allowing me to use the pen for both interacting with the computer and also for entering information. Now, there are other versions available that have something called a multi-touch screen available, meaning that you can also use your finger for inputting information as well as the pen, and that's great for certain field applications. And a third version has a higher resolution screen, up to 1400 by 1050 resolution. So if you like a higher definition screen, that's the one for you. For me, I don't like the higher definition because the text gets smaller. Even though it's a little crisper, it gets a little bit smaller. I find it a little bit difficult to read. So if you've got great eyesight, maybe the higher resolution screen is for you. Now, other configurations available also include different size hard drives. I have mine configured with a 100 gig hard drive that runs at a higher speed, 7,200 RPM. I like the higher speed hard drive because I do a lot of presentations where I'm showing video, and the higher speed hard drive plays back video better. Now, one thing you will notice with a sub notebook like this one here or a tablet PC is there's no room for optical drives. It doesn't have a built-in CD or DVD drive. So if we want to install software, we have to do it over the net, or we can use the optional Ultra Base for that. Now, this Ultra Base is a great addition to any tablet PC because the computer basically just clips into the base itself, and then it gives you a home base to work from. Now, it's got room to put an optical drive like a CD or DVD drive, plus it has all of the different ports that we need for connecting to keyboards and mice and monitors and anything else that you might have in printers, anything else you might have in your office. So this base is a great place to not dock the computer, work in your home office, but then when you travel, you just undock it and then you take the notebook with you as you travel about. Now, let's take a look here at the keyboard itself because the keyboard of this computer is absolutely spectacular. As with all Lenovo notebooks, its heritage of the keyboard harkens back to the IBM days. Lenovo is the personal computer division of IBM, the former personal computer division of IBM. So all of the technology that went into the IBM Selectric typewriters and the importance of the key feedback and the tactile nature of the keys is built into all the Lenovo ThinkPad series of computers. So it's a beautiful keyboard to type on. Now, it's slightly smaller than a regular keyboard, but the keys are full size. How they do that is by trimming back on the size of the caps lock and the shift keys on the side. But the keys that you type on are actually full size. So for touch typists, it's beautiful to work on. Now, it doesn't have a a trackpad. Instead, it uses the IntelliPoint. Now, it takes a little bit of getting used to. I personally love using the IntelliPoint, but there isn't room in this form factor to have a trackpad. So instead, the IntelliPoint is what we use for pointer when we're actually working on the computer and using it in mouse mode. Now, let's talk a little bit more about security on this device as well. So it's got built-in software that gives us automatic backup and all that sort of backing up data security, but also as far as password protection, it has a fingerprint reader right here. Now this fingerprint reader will allow us to use biometric feedback instead of passwords for accessing different protected areas or for actually accessing the computer itself. And the software will actually allow you to set thumbprints instead of passwords for accessing websites and your different logons and that sort of stuff. So it's really nice as far as security goes, very convenient because you don't have to remember a lot of extra passwords. Now, as far as networking is concerned, you can plug into Ethernet, but it also has built-in wireless networking and Bluetooth, so you can connect with anything from the internet to different peripherals. Now, the last thing I want to talk about right now is right here, which is the hinging mechanism. This is a really important part of any tablet PC. All notebooks are really vulnerable in the hinge arrangement on the bezel of the case for opening and closing the notebook. But it's even more critical with tablet PCs because not only do they have to open and close, but they also have to rotate in order to be used as a tablet PC. And if we take a look at the hinge here, we see that it's very positive. It locks and indexes into place so that when we go to turn it, it actually snaps into place. A very positive feel. It's designed to be opened hundreds and hundreds of thousands of times without fatigue, and then it will allow us to spin the computer around and then turn it into tablet mode, which will then allow us to work on it as a tablet PC. This X61 is a no-compromise computer. It's built incredibly tough. It's designed to take the rigors of the mobile workforce. It's lightweight, it has excellent battery life. I can work on it for an entire flight between Vancouver and Toronto without the battery dying, which in my mind is the ultimate test of a notebook's endurance. It's Energy Star compliant, runs very nearly silently, it wakes up, goes to sleep, converts into tablet mode like a dream. I'm going to miss my old X41 tablet, but I think I'm going to get over it. Blogs, podcasts, streaming video, you can find it all on our new website. Check out dottotech.com.